I've been sober for the last 5 years, and that's surprising to a lot of people because you always see me out DJing, I'm partying, having a great time. And a lot of people are like, how is that guy out there with that energy? And he's completely alcohol free. And if you told me 5 years ago that I wouldn't have a drop of alcohol for the next 5 years, I would have been like, you've got to be kidding. So if you're choosing the sober life, just trying to take a break from alcohol or figure out how to avoid that next hangover, I'm making this video for you. So stick around. In the next 10 minutes, I'll try to prove you don't have to have alcohol to have a good time. What's up guys, it's Justin Kahn, co-founder of Twitch. And today our video is on not drinking. So I've been sober for the last 5 years. Before that, I was basically a functional alcoholic. Since high school, I was basically dependent on alcohol as my social lubrication. I could not have imagined a world where I was engaging with other people regularly, going out, going to parties, doing social things without drinking. And I tried to think about how much I drank in my teenage through adult life, and I would estimate it was probably around 10 to 15,000 drinks, which is a lot. That's like a whole Malcolm Gladwell become an expert. I mean, I love drinking, and if I went back to drink, I'd probably still love it. I was like really, and I loved all kinds of alcohol. Basically, there wasn't a drink that I didn't like, but alcohol wasn't really good for me. The reason I liked alcohol was because I was always a shy kid when I was growing up, and I didn't know how to talk to people. So when I started drinking, it was like I went from Clark Kent, boom, Superman. I was able to just talk to people, talk to anyone, become the life of the party. I was super confident. I felt like I was completely transformed. The problem for me was that it never lasted, and there was a huge amount of downside that happened after that initial buzz. I had a very tough time controlling how much I was drinking at any given time. If I was drinking one, I'd feel like amazing, able to talk to people, vibing, and then that became 2, 3, 5, 10, and then I'd be blackout drunk. This led to cascading levels of horrifying behaviors. I made a list of all the things I'd done while drunk, kind of as a joke, but then I realized it was like things like roll on the ground screaming, or drink a full drink out of a broken glass, and then all the way to like, I ate somebody's house plant, or I locked the bathroom door inside of a party and then climbed out the window from the second floor, went back in through the first floor, went to the line of people who were sitting in line for that bathroom and be like, who's in there? What's taking so long? Some truly antisocial things, which are funny in retrospect, but like really at the time when you're living it, it's not healthy. Pretty early on, I realized, in my 20s, this is not good for me. And I tried all kinds of ways of moderating my drinking. I tried to say, okay, I'm only gonna drink one night a drink. I'm only gonna drink beer. I'm only gonna drink on days that end with the letter Y. But nothing ever worked. Like as soon as I had one drink, my willpower went out the door, executive function, game over, and then it was back to my old habits. The problem was I could never imagine a life without drinking because I like being Superman. I didn't want to be trapped as Clark Kent. The first thing to get sober, you have to want it yourself. Like you need to have that internal motivation. Nobody's gonna do it for you. No one's gonna provide the motivation for you to stop drinking. You have to wanna stop drinking yourself. For me, I finally hit that point where I was like, holy shit, I've done it every kind of way. It doesn't work. I realized I cannot keep doing the behaviors that I'm doing. And I decided I'm just gonna quit cold turkey and stop drinking. There's other people who are more experts at actually how to quit. For me, I just said, I'm gonna stop and then I'm never gonna drink again. And having a lack of choice really made it easy for me. For the first 30 to 60 days, I was white knuckling it. I used a habit tracker every day. I was checking off this box. I didn't drink today, I didn't drink today, I didn't drink today. But after about 60 days, I stopped thinking about it and I kind of just checking that box for the next 2 years. Eventually, I don't think about it at all now. The benefits for you being sober when you're going out, there's the obvious ones. You're not hungover. You're not gonna make a fool of yourself. But there's more subtle ones too. You can remember what the fuck happened. Maybe that's not that subtle. But I would have so many great conversations with people and connect with people and then just not remember it. I think I have done some permanent damage to my long-term memory from drinking, if I'm being honest. You're there, you're present, and you're not just present at the moment, but you're present as your authentic self. Here's another benefit. I used to get sick every 6 to 8 weeks, like clockwork. And I thought, I'm just a guy with a shitty immune system. I'm like Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. Then when I stopped drinking, I never got sick again. I've gotten sick once in the last 5 years. It turns out my immune system works. It just needs to not be poisoned all the time. All right, so how do you do it? For me, I think the most important thing with becoming comfortable going out while sober, which I thought was fucking impossible for me, was really about becoming comfortable with who I am in the world and accepting who I am. I needed alcohol as a way to dull the pain or the discomfort of being me in the world. So I had some things that I felt like I wasn't getting in the world. I didn't feel like I was fully comfortable with myself or how I showed up. And then drinking, I'd be like, that would be numb, and I'd be able to just show up as my fun self, I thought. When I got right with who I was in the world and became comfortable with myself, which involved a lot of work on myself, when I started going out and I wasn't drinking, I still felt okay. I still felt like, hey, this is like good. I'm comfortable in the world. And so for me to build that comfort, it was a lot of different things. It was learning about myself by drinking ayahuasca, sitting ayahuasca. It was a lot of gratitude journaling. It was a lot of journaling in general, writing about myself. It was a lot about figuring out how to create self-love. You know, I have this mantra every day. I write down like, I love and I'm loved. And once I got to that place, you know, I would say it probably took a year of doing a lot of work on myself. It felt a lot more natural to be out in the world, out and just talking to people and not be drinking. I always used to say like the highest level of self-confidence would be if you can dance while you're sober. And I said that as a joke because I was like, this is impossible. How could you dance while you're sober? Dancing is explicitly the realm of drunken fools. At a certain point, I just realized I was comfortable with myself enough that I could just dance while being sober and enjoy life, let joy flow through me. And I didn't really give a shit what other people thought. They could be like, that guy looks like an idiot. I'm like, oh, well, I'm doing me. So there's probably a lot of places in the world where people are like pressuring you. You know, there's subtle or explicit peer pressure to drink. The first thing you can do is just avoid those places. But sometimes it's unavoidable. It's like work or, you know, the people that you're with that you don't want to like give up on. It can be really helpful to just be like explicit about it. Hey, I'm not drinking. And just tell people, like I found like when I just tell people, hey, I don't drink, I have a problem with it. You know, most people are pretty respectful of that. If they're not respectful of that, if you're like, hey, I actually I'm not good with it, I have a problem. You should be drinking if you want to, but I'm like, it's not good for me. And if they're still like, hey, you should have this shot, then, you know, that's not your friend. You should not be hanging out with them. You know, if you need a crutch, there's like lots of different drinks that you can get out in the world that look like drinks, right? Soda water with lime. It gets kind of boring after a while, to be honest. My friends made this one that looks like beer in a tall boy can, but it tastes suspiciously like water. But you know, you could just get a drink. Now there's like non-alcoholic, a lot of bars and stuff have non-alcoholic drinks. They don't want to lose that revenue, and Gen Z is drinking less and less. All right, since we started this video, which we shot a couple months ago, I've actually released a non-alc product with my friend Woody. We created this Woody's non-alc sparkling wine. I loved sparkling wine, champagne when I was drinking, and unfortunately when I stopped drinking, there was like nothing good to drink. I felt like the products were too sweet. They didn't taste like wine. They like, you know, the NA wines were pretty weak. So like an entrepreneur, I was like, I could solve this problem. Found Woody, who's a fourth generation winemaker in Healdsburg, California. And we created this product in a Blanc de Blanc and a Rosé. So I would love for you to try it out and give me your feedback, and we'll drop some links on where you can find it below. But we think it's super delicious, and I want to know what you think. Bartenders will make you a drink that looks like a drink if you want one that doesn't have alcohol in it. If you can't, I mean, I think it's better to just be upfront and honest and your authentic self. That's my mantra, right? Like to be my authentic self in the world. So I encourage you to just be like, if you're not drinking, just say, hey, I'm not drinking. And a lot of people are not drinking now, so there's no shame to that. But if you can't, then, you know, go get a drink with an umbrella in it and a cherry and put blue in it. It's not alcoholic blue. And then drink it and pretend you're drinking some fruity tropical beverage. That will solve your social problems. People will finally stop making fun of you if you're drinking that drink. That's the tips. Don't drink. If you feel pressured, bounce. Make yourself comfortable in the world, whether it's dressing is in a way that's comfortable to you. So anything that you can do to build your own confidence is gonna help you. If you feel self-conscious about not drinking, just remember, most of the time when you go out, whether you're in a small group, a big group, or you're a random person in a club or festival or whatever, people don't care. They don't care what you're doing. They're primarily concerned with their own problems, their own self-consciousness. They're not thinking, oh, that guy's not drinking, he's weird. People don't care. So you should just do you and remember that nobody's tracking you, watching you, and like thinking about what you're doing and then judging you. That's all in your head. All right, so if you're thinking about quitting drinking or drinking less, just comment down below. Let me know. Hopefully this video has been helpful, and I wish you luck on your own journey. All right, later.